Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So in this one, I really wanted to pose a question. Should the New York Jets go out and add a tackle through free agency because of Mekhi Becton's plantar fasciitis? Now, right off the bat, this plantar fasciitis is not good. It hurts. It's painful. It's keeping Mekhi Becton off of his feet through voluntary OTAs. Yes, they're voluntary OTAs, but at the end of the day, he's still missing time with an injury. You go back and you look at what he did, his rookie season. When he was on the field, he was absolutely dominant, but he had a couple of injuries, right? The injury concern was there, and then what makes it even worse, and it just makes my blood boil, just as a fan of the, number one, just as a fan of the New York Jets, and then number two, just, hoping that Mekhi Becton is okay as a person. He was playing injured, and clearly that does not help said injury to continue to play through it. I mean, I remember specific times where the camera would pan over to Becton on the sidelines, right? The offense is coming off the field. He would take off his helmet and he was wincing in pain. And then lo and behold, he would have to go back out on the field. And it's like, I really did not like that at all, right? So given Mekhi Becton's injury history, given the plantar fasciitis, by the way, I actually reached out to an old buddy who had it a while ago, just to kind of gauge, like just ask him about it, right? Like what did he feel? He said it hurt to stand up, it hurt to walk, it hurt to really just go to work. He works in an office. I'm like, well, what if a football player got it? And he just laughed. He's just like, yeah, you can't play with it. Hurts really bad. And it never truly, this is of course like his anecdotal thing. He said he kind of feels it like lingering from time to time. It's never fully gone. Like he's not in constant pain or anything like that, but he's just like, sometimes you'll get like a hint of it. And I'm like, that's pretty crazy, right? Mekhi Becton's going in a year two, and granted, like they could have completely different, situations. But man, given last season's injuries, given the plantar fasciitis, you can't just write Mekhi Becton's name in the starting lineup at left tackle with a Sharpie, right? Every single week, just because of the injury concern. And who knows, maybe this is going to be Mekhi Becton's last thing he ever deals with. We don't know. But up until this point, Mekhi Becton has dealt with injuries. Okay, so again, going back to the original question, should the Jets go out and pursue, a tackle in free agency? Currently, we have Chuma Edoga on the roster. I feel like he would be the first man up to, if Becton were to go down, if he, isn't ready to go, or the fasciitis gets worse. I would say Edoga is probably the first man up. We also brought in Grant Hermans. That was probably my favorite undrafted free agent that the team brought in for Purdue. 6'7", 300 pounds. I really liked what he did at Purdue. Just an aggressive player, a lot of size, a lot of upside as well. Teton Salt is another guy with a high upside from New Mexico, but at the end of the day, does Robert Saleh want to entrust an undrafted free agent rookie with the starting left tackle spot? I mean, the Jets could be in a position where that's their only choice, but let's look at the tackle market outside of the locker room and see who's possibly out there. Now, the big two names that are currently still out there, Mitchell Schwartz from the Chiefs, one of the best right tackles in the league when healthy, and then of course Morgan Moses, who the Jets actually brought in last week for a visit. So there is a significant level of interest by the team in Moses, okay? But here's the thing. Both of those guys played right tackle. I feel like if the Jets were to bring either of those guys in, I should say, it would be to play right tackle. So we're going to dive into both of those tackles in a second, but let's just hypothetically say the Jets do sign Morgan Moses tomorrow, we sign Mitchell Schwartz tomorrow, whoever it may be. I would think that George Fant would slide over to left tackle because he's played left tackle before. He's kind of been, his entire role with the Seattle Seahawks was that swing tackle position. So my best guess would be that George Fant would take over left tackle. Edoga would remain a backup. Of course, the undrafted free agents can have some time to, of course, learn the offense, season, get stronger physically, mentally, and just, learn the pro game on the bench, kind of relaxing. And then the newcomer would come in and play right tackle, whether it's Schwartz or Moses. Now, let's talk about Moses first, because this is a guy that the Jets actually have interest in. Now, he was brought in for a visit. This guy has been an absolute animal for the Washington football team. He was a captain and has a lot of production on that football team offensive line. I mean, he was a core piece. He was a pillar on that O-line since 2015. A lot of good tape out there, okay? I just feel like he was consistent, he was reliable, he was durable, he was never, a liability out there. I really liked Morgan Moses. Now, of course, he's 30 years old. The Jets aren't going to be getting prime Morgan Moses or anything like that, if, of course, we sign him here. And I don't really feel like he would command a humongous contract. He's probably not looking for a 4-year deal. It would probably be like a 1 or a 2-year contract with decent money. Not anything out of the ordinary, but the good news for the Jets, we have the money to pay potential free agents here. And by no means are the Jets maxed out with their cap space. Nothing like that. So on paper, the Jets can financially afford to bring Moses into the building. Okay, now the only downside with Moses, because he is a productive player, because he has a lot of really, really good tape out there, because he is a veteran leader, again at 30 years old, he's going to have a lot of teams interested. Now, we've already seen that the Chicago Bears bring him in for a visit after the New York Jets, so it might be a bidding war. I don't feel like Morgan Moses at this point is begging teams for a job. I feel like it's the other way around. It's more so teams are calling him, and he's just taking offers, and he's like, I'm just going to pick the best situation. So the Jets coming off of a 2-14 season, we might have to pay more. We might have to outbid the rest of the competition to bring Morgan Moses in, and that might be by a lot. Okay, so that's the only downside. But at the end of the day, if the Jets were to bring in Moses, it would be a huge upgrade. I do feel like he would come in and play right tackle, Fant would slide over to left tackle, and we would move forward. In the case of Mitchell Schwartz, this is interesting, okay, because I feel like the future is a little uncertain for Mitchell Schwartz, because I mean, this guy's great, right? When he's on the field, he's absolutely tremendous. And the thing is about Schwartz, he has been on the field the majority of his career. His one big injury happened last year, and it just so happened to be to his back early in the season. I think it was like week 5, week 6 or something like that. Mitchell Schwartz got hurt. He missed the rest of the season. He missed the postseason and ended up getting released by the Chiefs. It is what it is. He's out there, and much like Eric Fisher, just struggled to find a team early, and Eric Fisher ends up signing a pretty team-friendly deal with the Indianapolis Colts, and then it kind of raised the question, like, when is Mitchell Schwartz going to sign, and is he even going to sign, right? Or is he just going to call it quits? Is he going to retire? Because that's the thing with Schwartz. He's 31 years old. He's never had an injury. He's dominant when he's played. And really, I mean, he was an anchor for the Chiefs offensive line for years, right? For years. This great Chiefs team with Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, the O-line. Mitchell Schwartz was arguably the best player on the offensive line. You can't just ignore that, okay? So Schwartz is still out there. If he's 100% ready to go for the season, I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him in. I do feel like Schwartz would be a cheaper option than Moses, so we would get that added benefit financially. But at the same time, it's just such a roll of the dice, because it's like, yeah, he's coming off a huge back injury, but that's the only problem he's ever had in his entire career, and he's 31 years old. Do you want to take the risk? Is this an anomaly? Is this just some random pop-up injury? Or is his body breaking down? Is he just unreliable at this point? So I think at the end of the day, I would prefer Morgan Moses if the Jets do in fact go out and sign a tackle. As much as I want Becton to be healthy, we need the tackle position to be solidified for this upcoming season. So many things right on the offensive line. We have Elijah Veritalk coming in to play left guard. The hope is McGovern will get better at center, right, with the offensive system change, more of a zone blocking attack here. Fant is the projected right tackle. But man, if Becton goes down with an injury, or this plantar fasciitis keeps him out for an extended period of time, or continues to get worse with time, that could spell trouble. That could be an issue. So I would rather the Jets play it safe, maybe spend a little bit extra money just to have that insurance policy. And at the end of the day, you're still getting a really solid player. It's not like you're getting some Band-Aid out there, or some, just some stopgap guy that might just be there for a season. Morgan Moses still has a pretty good football left. Again, with Mitchell Schwartz, we don't really know if he's healthy. Who's to say he ever gets hurt again and he can play to 35, 36? Who knows at that point? So it's an interesting kind of discussion here. It all rides on Mekhi Becton's health. And at the end of the day, Becton has the potential to literally be one of the best tackles to ever play the game. I know I'm a Jet fan. I know that might sound like I'm a homer, stuff like that. But you look at his size, you look at what he did last season with no help around him, a horrible coaching staff, the potential, the speed, the size, the footwork, domination in the run game, just how he manhandles veteran defensive ends. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's just a matter of health. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Would you prefer a Mitchell Schwartz? Would you prefer a Morgan Moses? Or would you roll with the guys on the roster, right? Like a Saltz or even a McDermott, right? At left tackle, Edoga. I know there's some people that are still really, really high on Chuma Edoga coming out of USC. Had some pretty solid college tape for sure. He's a middle round pick for us. It wasn't a Joe Douglas pick. It was a Mike McCagnon pick, of course. But anyway, I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And as always, go Jets.